me to introduce myself. My name is Fitri Amalia. I'm from Business Education Study Program 2021. So at this moment, I will do the experiments video to fulfill one of the assignments for the media for business course. This experiment video deals with business quantities or business measurements, and where this experiment is one of the most important in our life that we must examine. That is parabola motion. So the title of my video this time is Parabola Motion Experiment. Purposes of experiments. The first, understand what is the parabolic motion from the experiment. The second, analyze the relationship between elevation angle or shooting angle and maximum distance. The third, evaluate or measure initial velocity of the bullet or V0. Fourth, apply the parabolic motion through experiments carried out. And last one is create a video experiment through a precise quantity that is parabolic motion. The tools and materials that I used for these experiments, there is water hose, protractor, zerometer, and water from faucet. The stages of the experiment is the first, prepare the materials and tools that used. The second, directing the water hose at an elevation angle of 0 degree with an arcus of 0 degree. And then measure the X max and Y max that we get through zerometer. The fourth stage, do the same stage for 30 degree. Measure the farthest distance or X max and the highest distance or Y max. And now for 45 degree. Measure the Y max and X max. Do the same things for 60 degree, 75 degree, and 85 degree. Conduct experiments carefully and thoroughly. The next is about the precise quantity to be measured. In the horizontal direction or x-axis, that is GLB, or uniformly straight motion. So that the equation applies is Vx is equals V0x is equals V0 times cos theta. It is constant at every point at the parabola, where x is equals V0 times cos theta times t. And in the vertical direction or y-axis, that is GLBB, or uniformly changing straight motion, which A is equals mean G or gravitation, and V0y is equals V0 times sin theta, whereas Vy is V0 sin theta minus G times T. Y is equals V0 times sin theta times T minus a half times G times T square. The maximum height or Y max is equals V0 square times sin square theta over 2 times G. The farthest distance or X max. X max is equals V0 times cos theta times T, or X max is equals V0 times cos theta times 2 V0 times sin theta over G. The final result is X max is equals V0 square sin 2 theta over G. This is about observation table. So the water elevation angle is start from 0 degree, whereas the farthest distance or X max is 0 centimeter, and the highest distance or Y max is 0 centimeter. 3 degree, the water elevation angle, the farthest distance is 3 centimeter or X max, and the highest distance or Y max is 6 centimeter. For 45 degree, the farthest distance or X max is 6 centimeter, and for Y max or height distance is 7 centimeter. For the 60 degree, the X max is 7 centimeter and the Y max is 9 centimeter. For the 75 degree, the farthest distance or X max 3 centimeter and the highest distance or Y max is 11 centimeter. And last one is 85 degree. The x max is 2 centimeter and the y max is 13 centimeter. Next is about a graph. So the graph from parabolic motion that I met is the formula of x is equals v0 times cos theta times t. And to calculate the v0 x is equals x over cos theta times t. And then for y is equals v0 times sin theta times t minus a half times g times t square. Is to calculate the v0 y is y over sin theta times t minus a half times g times t square. I assume the value of t is 5 seconds. And the gravitation, we know that is gravitation is 10 meter per second square, and a half is equals 0.5. This is the result that I get for the v0x and the v0y I calculate before from the x value and y value and the theta. The next is the graph figure or the graph image from the previous. So the graph of x and y, it shows like this. And the graph of v0x and y, it shows like this. Last one graph is graph of v0y and x. We can see the difference of the graph figure for x and y variable and v0x and v0y variable. The next is phenomena that occur. The motion of the bullets or parabola is basically a combination of horizontal motion, or in the direction of the x-axis, and vertical is in the direction of the y-axis. Parabolic motion or bullet motion is a combination of uniform straight motion or GLB in a horizontal direction and uniformly changing straight motion or GLBB in a vertical direction. These two components do not affect each other. Bullet motion is motion in which an object is given an initial velocity and travels as far as the path affected by the Earth's gravity, or the path is parabolic. Parabolic motion always has an x and y axis, where the magnitude of the x-axis is always the same while the magnitude of the y-axis is varies. The magnitude of the y-axis when it is at its highest point is 0. In parabolic motion, there is always the farthest x or the farthest distance and y or maximum height. Initial velocity is an important component and it is closely related to elevation angle, maximum distance, and maximum height. Because according to the formula, we already know that to get the farthest distance, we must know what the initial velocity of the water was thrown. Likewise, when looking for the maximum height, we must use and know the initial speed. Without the initial velocity, the maximum height and maximum distance cannot be found. Likewise, the elevation angle also always affects the maximum height and maximum distance because its position is directly proportional. That is, if the angle of elevation is getting higher, then the distance and maximum height are also getting bigger. Logically, if we spray water from the different angles, the first angle is small and the second angle is larger. Then the larger angle will fly farther and higher because the initial velocity is also large. So the initial velocity and elevation angle are closely related to the highest point and the farthest distance according to the formula that has been studied. So for the conclusion, I have been made 3 of conclusions. The first is, after doing these experiments, it can be concluded that the greater the angle of elevation, the higher the maximum height, but the initial speed is lower. The time is longer and the distance is getting further away. The second, if the x is further away, then the y will be higher. The initial speed will be lower and the time will be longer. And last one is, what matters most is the angle. Because the angle changes, the distance, time, x max and y max will also change.